Hello! So this is a little bonus video in between my Anne of Green Gables reading vlogs. I'm making myself some tea. You can't see it, but I am adding the cream and sugar to my tea before it gets cold. Yeah, so I'm going to be doing a little thrift store book haul. I brought home a lot of books today because I decided it's time that they come home with me instead of just sitting on my shelf. Because I know these are ones that I know I wanted to buy. They're not just sitting there, me trying to decide if I want to buy them or not. I knew I wanted these. So I was cleaning up my space at work for the day and just decided to go ahead and bring them home, and it's such a fun book haul. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited about these books. So like I said, I knew I wanted to buy them because I'm really excited about them. So that's what we're gonna do. And yes, if you're new here, I'm Carmen, by the way. I keep forgetting to introduce myself. Welcome back if you have been here before, and if you're new here, welcome. I hope you enjoy your time here and keep coming back if you actually enjoy them. Anyway, let's see if I can do this without spilling tea over the guest bed. I'm in my guest room, by the way, because my husband is recording his podcast, and so I am in the guest room so that I can close the door and do my thing without disturbing his podcast. I can hear him. I don't know if you guys can hear him, but I hope it doesn't bother anyone too much. But anyway, let's get started on this book haul. Wow, I'm so excited. I separated them into categories. Excuse me. So I'll just start with the first pile. Wow, this one was actually free. It's all taped up because it was falling apart, and the binding is basically coming off. That's why the tape is there. It is called 5 Smooth Stones, a novel by Anne Fairbairn. Printed in 1966. And from what I couldn't find a whole lot of information on it, but because it was free, I thought I'd bring it home and try it out and read it. Plus, I love old books, and it's based off of, I mean, like, the title comes from David in the Bible when he went to the brook and picked out 5 smooth stones to go fight Goliath with, and that's the only information I have about it. I might do a little bit more research, or I might just read it and decide if I want to keep it or not, or keep reading it, because it's a really thick book and I don't have a whole lot of information on it, so I'm just not really sure if I will like it or not, but I thought I'd rescue it and give it a shot instead of just throwing it away because it's old and falling apart. The next one is, this one has been recommended on Instagram. A couple people that I follow have read it and recommended it, and it's Mama Bear Apologetics, Empowering Your Kids to Challenge Cultural Lies. I don't have kids yet, but I'm really interested in reading this because I hope to have kids one day, and I personally love Christian apologetics, I've said before in videos, and I definitely want to teach my kids how to stand up for their faith, I guess, and be able to explain it well, and yeah, basically what it says, to challenge cultural lies. Some people that I follow on Instagram have loved it and highly recommend it, whereas others they were like, it's really good and there are truths to take out of it. Maybe it's another book that I'm thinking of, I'm not really sure, but I will read it. I'm excited to read it, actually, and I will let you guys know what I think about it then. And if you have read it, let me know what your thoughts are on it. And then the next is a lot of junior books. I know that some people have requested that I do a book for junior or mid-grade level for their like recommendations on what they should get their children to read. And I haven't done that yet, partly because I'm still trying to do the research and find books that I personally actually love and remember loving from my childhood to do the video. But yeah, so I'm trying to grow my collection of mid-grade, junior level books. But the first one is actually one that I already have a copy of, Pax by Sarah Pennypacker. It's the story of a little boy and a fox that he befriends, but it's told I was thinking it's told from the perspective of the fox. Yeah, it is. I think it switches in between chapters. It's told from the perspective of the fox and then from the boy. And I love foxes. They're my favorite animal. And when I saw this book, I just had to pick it up and read it. And I have the soft cover book, but I personally prefer hardcover. I don't know if I'm like in the minority with that, because I know a lot of people love their paperbacks, but I love my hardcovers because I feel like they last longer. I could be wrong, but I decided to get this one to swap it out with my soft cover because look at this cover. It's such a beautiful green and like bronze writing, and the fox on the front there. I don't know, it's just so pretty. And I don't know if you can tell, but it's like little plants engraved in the cover. My autofocus doesn't work, so I'm not even gonna try. But yeah, this is just one to replace one that's already on my shelf. I wanted a hardcover copy of it, and this one is it is mid-grade level for kids. I don't know if it has an actual age. Ages 10 to 14 on this one. It is a little bit sad. I don't know if it'd be considered dark. Some might think so, I guess, but it is in a setting where there's a war going on and the dad has to go off to war, and the war is really close to home where this boy and the fox are living, and so it kind of has that in it, and the fox gets injured, or the fox family gets killed. I don't want to spoil too much, but basically there are some like harder, darker, sadder elements in the story. So that's just a heads up in case any of you are thinking about letting your kids read it. I personally think it's okay, and maybe more of a conversation starter if they have questions about things that are going on, or if it's bothering them. I don't know, just something to talk about with your kids. But I really love the story. It's so sweet and cute and sad at the same time, but yes. Maybe it's something you can read before you let your child read it, if that would give you more peace about, yeah, letting them read it. But anyway, moving on. These are this is a series. I don't know if it's the whole series, but it is The Imagination Station from The Adventures in Odyssey and Focus on the Family. I grew up on Adventures in Odyssey and I am a massive fan. I love it so much, even though I live 45 minutes away from Colorado Springs and still haven't visited the Adventures in Odyssey or Focus on the Family Center. But I have never read the books, but I found these and I was highly interested, and I want to read them because I love Adventures in Odyssey so much, and I want to see what the books have to say. And then the others, I have some others here too. It's books 5 and 6, so apparently there's more in the series. But these are just, yeah, Adventures in Odyssey. Other books, it doesn't have a title, like a series title. So yeah, I want to keep an eye out for the others, but I thought I'd just go ahead and grab these. I'm really excited to read those. I feel like maybe I should just do a whole reading vlog where all I read is my junior books so that I can give you the thumbs up, like, this is a good one, you should get your child to read it, or not, that kind of thing. And again, the next one is a series, and again, they are replacing a book on my shelf, and it is the Chronicles of Narnia series. The entire series in a hardcover. What? So the only ones I have is like one volume, like all of them in one book. And I personally do not like that. I like to have the individual books of the series. I don't know why, it's just a thing I have, and I'm constantly, like, if I do have any that are like multiple volumes in one, I have it because I wanted to read them and I didn't have any other options to buy, but I am always looking out to replace those so that I can have individual copies. And these are all really nice. They don't hardly have any wear and tear on them at all. And so I was really excited to find these. The hardcover individual series of Chronicles of Narnia. Whoa! Ouch. Okay, so then the next section grouping are classics or older books, which I included the first one. Could have included the first one with these, but I didn't. So this next one, got a little dust on it, is a copy of Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen, and it is this gorgeous, my favorite green color binding. And again, this one is replacing one of my books. The one that I have is like the really thick Barnes & Noble series. It's hardcover, but it's the really thick Barnes & Noble edition. And this one is a lot smaller, and which means I will have more room on my shelf for other books. And so I'm replacing this one, and I just love the color and the binding so much. And I love Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen. I pretty much love everything I've read by Jane Austen. And speaking of Jane Austen, the next books that I have are all about Jane Austen and her world. And this one is a nonfiction, What Matters in Jane Austen by John Mullen. In 20 short chapters, each of which answers a question prompted by Jane Austen's novels, John Mullen illuminates the themes that matter most to the workings of Austen's much-loved classics. Inspired by an enthusiastic reader's curiosity based on a lifetime study and written with flair and insight, What Matters in Jane Austen uncovers the hidden truth about an extraordinary fictional world. So I was excited to find this and read about it because I love Jane Austen and Jane Austen's world so much that I just wanted to read more about it. And then this one is the Jane Austen Handbook, Proper Life Skills from Regency England by Margaret C. Sullivan. And this is more like a coffee table style book that you can just pick up and open it up anywhere and just read little tidbits of information from Jane Austen's world and the Regency era, which is one of my favorite eras in English history. But yeah, so I'm excited to just kind of page through this and find all these little tidbits and life from, yeah, Regency England, Jane Austen's world. And then the last one of the classics is Quovatus. I'm not even going to attempt to say his last name. I need to look it up before I attempt it because I think it's Polish. It's a Polish name. I could be seriously wrong on that. I should maybe do my research before I say things. But Quovatus is set in the early church days in Rome. Yeah, it says Quovatus, a narrative of the time of Nero. And a friend had recommended it to me years ago because she loved it when she was younger, and she figured I would love it because I also love the Roman era, the time of the early church and the Christians that lived in Rome, and the church, the early church there and everything surrounding it, just the Roman history and everything, is seriously fascinating. Probably one of my top favorite time periods in history. And so I was actually really interested when she showed it to me, or gave me her copy, and I started to read it, and I didn't get very far because the words were so big. I basically had to read it with a dictionary beside me, which is a good thing because it's always good to expand your vocabulary, I feel. But at the same time, I had just finished reading Francine Rivers' series, the Mark of the Lion series, and Francine Rivers' writing is obviously very different than this author who wrote this book in the 1800s. Apparently this particular copy is from 1897, and it's definitely more fast-paced and descriptive words that, and words that were easier for me to read. And like, I read through the Mark of the Lion series the first time that I read them in 3 days. So basically 1 book per day, and they are thick books if you know the series. But I just ate them up because I loved the story so much. And I've since read this entire series at least 3 times and have listened to the audiobooks multiple times. I love the series. I have some questions about some of Francine Rivers' books and don't recommend all of her books, but the Mark of the Lion series I just love because of the time period that it was written in and the entire story. I love it so much. And so having just read those and being really excited about those books and picking up Quovatus, it was just like a completely different switch with the language and the words being used. And like, this is Old English obviously, or it's actually translated as a translated book. And so I just didn't even get into it very far and never finished it. And so when this copy came through, I was like, I'm gonna give it a fair chance again, and I'm gonna try to read it again. So, and it's an old copy, it's an old book, and I love collecting old books and old copies, and so this one is from 1897, so it was printed 100 years before I was born, and that is mind-blowing to me. What? Whoa. It really just hit me. So yeah, that is Quovatus by we're not even gonna try. Anyway, we're getting down to the last little bits, but I'm so excited about these next ones that I'm gonna show you because they're the cutest things. If you follow me on Instagram, you probably would have seen this a while ago that I had showed these on there, but if you're anything like me, you love all things mini. Like mini versions. I don't know why mini versions of things are just so adorable. They're just so cute. And I've slowly been collecting these little mini books that come through donations and come through the thrift store. They're so cute. I mean, look at this. Like, it's smaller than my palm, and it is Meet Kirsten, the American Girl series. I guess it's just the first book of Kirsten's story. It's so tiny. I about can't even read the words, but it's so cute. And I love the American Girl series, at least the original American Girls. And Kirsten was one of my favorite characters in the American Girl series, and so I just had to get it. I'm gonna try to do this whole thing with showing you guys, figuring out this focus and letting you guys actually see it. There we go. That's so tiny. But isn't that the cutest? I'm just gonna stay behind the camera and show you guys this. And then the golden books. It's like, look how little. It's so tiny. And it's so cute. And I love collecting the little golden books. And this is the little golden books. I only have one, but it's adorable. And I'm gonna keep my eye out for others. And then I grew up on the Hardy Boys, not Nancy Drew, because I had brothers, all brothers, and so I read pretty much every single Hardy Boy book I could get my hands on. And so this little mini book, The Hardy Boys Guide to Life, I just had to pick it up. I didn't even actually really go through and read it, but they're just little tidbits from different, from the different books. Just life lessons, I guess. Really cool. And then the next one is The Littlest Book of Van Gogh. Van Gogh is one of my favorite painters, and it's apparently torn, but I decided to bring it home anyway. And so yeah, it's just Van Gogh's paintings and the descriptions. The next one is a mini copy of Edgar Allan Poe, The Selected Works. I know Poe's writing is a little dark, and I don't enjoy everything he writes, but he does have a way with words, and some of his writing is some of the most beautiful that I've ever read. And so I wanted this little collection. And then I love information books because I love learning, and so I thought this one was pretty cool. The Little Book of Knots, to just learn all the different knots, survival skills, whatnot all. Just found it really interesting. And then I'm not even really sure what this one is. It just says As a Man Thinketh. I'm not even sure who wrote it. But I love these little pocket, like they're so tiny that they could just fit in the pocket. And I feel like, especially these old ones, came from a time where men would carry these in their pockets and read them while they're waiting somewhere at the train station or, you know, whatever, and just pull them out and quick read little tidbits. But yes, As a Man Thinketh. And then the last one is called Daily Food. It's really old. It's so tiny. There's an inscription here that says 1860. So it's really, yeah, it's an old little book. Daily Food for Christians, being a promise and, wait, is that what that says? Yes. And another scriptural portion for every day in the year. So I thought that was kind of cool. It's with a verse and a hymn, apparently. So I thought that one was a cool little one to add to my collection of old books. Just this tiny little thing. So yes, that is my big thrift store haul. Finally bringing books home that I've been wanting for a while. My tea has now gotten cold, but I'm one of those people who drinks it anyway, even if it's cold. Same with my coffee. I know, I am weird. I did also bring home a record, a Keith Green record. I love Keith Green's story and I love his music, and I was so excited to find his record. So I brought it home as well, but I already put it away so I don't have it here to show me. Yes, the next one, I brought home 2 DVDs as well. I love musicals, and The Sound of Music, well, it was my top favorite musical, but since last week when I watched Singing in the Rain has now become my #1 favorite musical. I fell in love and I laughed and I loved the music. I've always been familiar with the songs, but I just never actually watched the musical until the other day, last week, and I can't believe it's been this long, or I took this long to watch it. Excuse me. So I found these copies and wanted to bring them home so that I have them on DVD and can watch them instead of always having to rent them online. So yeah, that is my little thrift store haul. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and let me know what new books you've brought home recently, because I'd love to hear what other people are reading. And yes, give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!